Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
So today we are in our traditional garments. Traditional. And I'm dressing how Abraham would have dressed. She's dressing how Sarah would have dressed. And we're going to continue with our reading, picking up at chapter 39. So we are now reading about how the people gave and how how they completed the work.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to complete this list. So I'm going to start at 38 and 31, and then go into 39, picking up where we left off. So, and the bases of the court round about, and the bases of the gate of the court, and all the pins of the tabernacle, and all the pins of the court round about, and of the hyacinth, and purple, and crimson, and they made the vestments of ministration to minister in the sanctuary, and they made the holy vestments of Aaron the priest, as Yah had commanded Moshe. Now, hyacinth is a plant, and it comes in a variety of colors.
Okay.
So it's not one color.
Okay.
All right. So a lot of people don't know, style, color, matching is important because you know what purple is
Yes.
and you know what crimson is,
Yes.
right? So you know that there are these colors, but hyacinth will give you the variety so that there is creativity. So there is a white hyacinth flower. So if you wanted it, if it has to be hyacinth, meaning you're going to take the dye of the hyacinth, which has a chemical to it, which the Most High deems to us as sacred,
Okay.
then you'll take that. So if you want something to stay white, but it's hyacinth, you just use the white hyacinth flower. If you need something to be pink, you have red, you have blue, you have orange, you have all of these colors of hyacinth. So you can, any color, you can use hyacinth and match your garments.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So that's what hyacinth is. Okay? And so they finished and built and made the vestments. Right? And verse number 2, and he made the ephod of gold, hyacinth, and purple, and fine linen twined. Okay? And they beat out the plates of gold and cut them into threads to end work with the hyacinth. So this is braided into it. And the purple and the crimson and the fine linen, the work of an artificer. That means high level craftsmanship. So it's not just made to just be functional.
Right.
This is also to be beautiful. Shoulder pieces they made for the conjoining. Upon its two sides, they were conjoined. So they made shoulder pieces and made it so that it can be tied and lashed together. And its ordered band that was upon it was of the same, and it was according to its work of gold, hyacinth, and purple, and crimson, and fine linen twine, even as Yah had commanded Moshe. And they wrought the jewels of onyx, encased, set, enwrought, engraved, with graven writing, setting forth the names of the sons of Israel. And he set them on the shoulders of the ephod as stones of memorial for the sons of Israel, as Yah commanded Moshe. And he made the breastplate the work of the artificer according to the work of the ephod, of gold, hyacinth, and purple, and crimson, and fine linen twine. 4 square was it. Doubled they made the breastplate, a span its length and a span its breadth. And they filled it with 4 rows of precious gems, the margilian. Okay? Corresponding with the 4 corners of the world. The first row is carnelian, topaz, and carbuncle. row 1. And upon them were engraven and expressed the names of the tribe of Reuben, Shimeon, and Levi. The name of the second row, Smaragd, Sapphire, Chalcedony. And upon them was inscribed and set the names of 3 tribes, Yehuda, Dan, and Naphtali. And the name of the third row, Ligure, Agate, and Amethyst. And upon them inscribed and set forth was the names of 3 tribes, Gad, Asher, and Issachar, or Issachar. And the name of the fourth row, Chrysolite, Onyx, and Jasper. And inscribed upon them and set forth the name of 3 tribes, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin, encased and set in gold in their infillings. The gems were according to the names of the sons of Israel, 12 tribes according to their names. The writings engraved, inscribed, and set forth as the engraving of a ring. Each gem according to his name in the 12 tribes. Now, this is what was put on the high priest who was in service at the time.
Okay.
Okay? So the ropes and everything makes everything adjustable
Right.
because there is one outfit that is for every high priest. So every high priest has to wear the same outfit as Aaron the priest.
Okay.
Okay? So it has to fit Aaron and his sons. Whenever they go in, they have to have this on. Now, Aaron's is different from the other priests. Okay? So you'll notice Levi mentioned here.
Yes.
And we'll get into this a little bit later, but this is the one that is set forth upon Aaron in his going in. As you can see, there is no Ephraim and there is no Manasseh.
Yes. Yes.
Okay?
Yes. And I noticed that it was all in the order of their birth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a different ordering. Right? So there's a different order for each distinguished situation that you are serving in. Okay. So the high priest ordering and the priestly ordering is 2 different things.
Okay.
All right. And this is important to learn and to recognize that we are one people, but the orderings are different. Each one is given a specific instruction to do things a specific way, but that's for him. And then there's another one for anyone else in this service.
Okay.
Right? So there's levels to this.
Yes.
At the highest level, there's this. At the next level down, you have this access and this restriction.
Okay.
Even at the highest level, you have this access and you have this restriction. You cannot be prideful, cross over, and step on other people's toes, right? Or foolish to question as to why theirs is different. This is the ordering.
Right. So anyone emulating this and just wearing this particular design, they're operating out of order because it's only made
for the high priesthood. So if you work for the tribe of Merari and in their service, then you cannot wear the sons of Aaron's order. Right? If you work for the sons of Korach in their ordering, then you cannot wear the sons of Aaron's service. You cannot do it. Okay? And they made upon the breastplate wreath and chains and twine work of pure gold. And they made 2 sockets of gold and 2 golden rings, and set the 2 rings on the 2 sides of the breastplate. So there's 2 rings and 2 rings. And they put the 2 entwinements of gold within the 2 rings upon the two sides of the breastplate, and the two chains that were arranged on the two sides, they fastened upon the two sockets and set them on the shoulders of the ephod toward its front. So the two rings, the two sockets, the entwinement, everything is mounted to him toward his front. And they made the two golden rings and set them upon the two sides of the breastplate upon its edge that was on the border of the ephod inward. Okay? So on the border inward, so you're talking about there's a border and there's set inside.
Okay.
So they're not sticking out the side, they're inside.
Side. Okay.
All right? Inward, and they made the golden rings and arranged them upon the two shoulders of the ephod below towards its front over against the place of conjoinment above the band of the ephod, and fitted the breastplate by its rings to the rings of the ephod by a ribbon of hyacinth, that it might adhere to the band of the ephod, and that the breastplate be not loosened, being upon the ephod, as Yah commanded Moshe. So everything is fitted, tied, and it locks into place that it doesn't come loose. He can move, he can work, he can do whatever he needs to do. It doesn't come off. Okay? And the mantle robe, a work of the weaver of twined thread of hyacinths, and the aperture of the upper robe was double in the midst, like the opening of a piece of armor, with a border round about its edge, that it might not be torn.
Wow.
So it's double stitched, threaded, and reinforced so that the garment cannot be torn. So this is the high priest's garment.
So is that something like a cape?
Yes, the robe is intertwined, woven, double stitched, reinforced. Right? It cannot be torn. So this is if you wanted to understand, this is like the work of a harness.
Oh, okay.
Right? You ever see safety harnesses?
Yes.
If a man falls off of a building and he has a safety harness on, he ain't gonna hit the ground.
Right.
Right? Once that rope catches, as long as that rope don't break, that harness is not going to tear.
Right.
It's just pow. He's you in there. It cannot be torn. And the aperture of the upper robe double in the midst, that it might not be torn. Okay. And they made upon the bottom of the upper robe pomegranates of hyacinth and purple and crimson and fine linen entwined. And they made golden bells and set the bells among the pomegranates upon the border of the mantle robe, round about among the pomegranates, a bell and a pomegranate, a bell and a pomegranate, all of them 70 upon the bottom of the upper robe, round about, to minister in, as Yah commanded Moshe. Now, Aaron has two robes. This upper robe, this arbia, right, that he's wearing has a bell and a pomegranate along the bottom. This is the one he wears while he's inside and in his service, right? We know when the bell stopped ringing, he stopped moving.
Right.
We can wait and see if the bells stop ringing again. If the bells don't ring for a while, we know he dead. And we got to go in with the meat hooks and drag out the body. So this service before the Most High is very real, and it's the life and death matter, an issue. Okay?
So the pomegranates and the bells are on the robe, not on the bottom of
His garment. No, it's on the robe. Okay? Also about this garment, you see all the beautiful colors, the red and the
Yes.
purple and the gold. And now he have a second one, and that's the one that's made of the mantle milad, the metal arbia, because the word mantle we don't have that. We have mendils, right? And we have the arbias, the robes, the cloaks. And his cloak, he has a gold one that's
Wow.
made of chainmail as well.
Fly guy. He's fly.
You have to understand before the king, and this is any king, right? You are bathed, right? You must be bathed, you must be perfumed, moisturized, and redressed.
Everybody?
Everybody. So again, this happened at Mount Sinai. He said, you clean your house,
Right, the 3 days.
bathe,
Right.
wash your clothes, and put on these fresh new clothes that I gave you, and appear before me on the third day.
Wow.
So again, there is an appearance. You must appear before the Most High dressed and in uniform to do your service.
So that's when you talked about the wadu when
Yeah,
when
you
you come
perform
in to pray.
wudu. So when you come in to pray, like when you come in before the Most High, you perform at the most basic level, the wudu. You wash your face, your hands, and your feet. Right? We call this wudu from the tradition, but this comes and stems all the way back to Abraham. And Abraham mandated that this be done throughout all his generations.
Wow, all his children.
Right. So this is his custom and his worship to his God. So I don't care what the Christians say, the Muslims got this point right. Right? Which comes from Prophet Muhammad, who was Ishmaeli, and this stems all the way back to Abraham. And they made the plate of the crown of holiness of pure gold, and wrote upon it, inscribed, engraven, and set forth, holiness to Allah, holiness to Yahya. Okay? So it's Mukasail. If it's
Mukasail.
holiness to or Mukadasil, if it's holiness to Allah, or it's Mukadasiya, if it's holiness to Yahya. Okay? Mukadasiya. So that Yahya, Siya, once you put the S in front of it, Siya.
Okay.
Right? So that's what that would be. Okay? So the word holiness is mukadas.
Mukadas.
So I know there's people going around saying where is the mu coming from? From mukadas, but the root is kadas, which is holy. Right? The root word is kadas. I know they say kodesh, but it's kadas. Okay? Which again comes from the Aramaic. So Mukadasiya is holiness to Yahya, or Mukadasil, holiness to Allah. All right. So whenever you see the eel, like in Ezekiel, or Bezalel. So Bezalel is in the shadow of Allah, in the shadow of God. Right? But if you see like the Yah, like in
Hallelujah.
like Hallelujah, right? The Yah is from Yah. Right? And if you read Torah, in the Hebrew, you will always see Yod Yod, which is Yah. So I'm telling you now, I held it from you before, but if you made it this far in, we're getting ready to get into the Levitical rites. You're going to need to know where stuff is stemming from. So if you see Yod Yod in the Torah, two Yods together, it's Yah. You know, I can tell you, you know, one of the first churches in Brooklyn is down on Eastern Parkway.
Okay.
Right? It's a black church now. Inside of it, the church originally was a synagogue. And inside of it, on the roof, is two yods. And it's two yods throughout the building. The building is kept still in its antiquity. And the black people in the church do not know what the two yods mean. Even down in the community of Dimona, when they are teaching the children the Hebrew and the prayers and, you know, the raising of the ark, the lowering of the ark, and all the different prayers that they made before they did certain things. They see two yods and they say, that's Yahuwah. Because they don't know the origin. They have no direct translation to get them the fullness of understanding of the language that they are getting ready to get into.
So it's not YHWH like we've been told.
No. There's not tetragrammaton. Right? Right. That even spelled out anywhere was trying to get you to understand YH, yeah, right? Yod Hey. And then they put the Vav there, but Vav in the middle, right, acts like a Yod as well. So it's Yod Hey, Vav Hey, and it's not Vav, it's Wa. So you get Yah.
Okay.
Right? We don't have a lot of V's
Right.
in the native tongue. V was not popular.
Right. And Abraham's native tongue was Aramaic.
Right. So you have to accept what it was in antiquity, and you have to accept the understanding. Right? If you don't accept the understanding, right, you're going to find yourself spinning your wheels. Right? There's millions and millions and millions of books of disinformation. Why? You can't destroy the truth, but you can confuse it with a lot of other
twisted
information. So the only way to get the information is you have to come back to the root. You have to come back. You have to accept what the claims are. Right? I accepted the claim that the Jewish people said that they were indigenous to this land. When I came back to the land and followed this story, you find out, yes, they were here, but they were not here as friends of Abraham or his children. They were actually his enemies. They are the descendants of Pekol and Abimelech, who were Chaldeans. Right? So when Abraham left from Ur and he comes down here, he meets with them. And they intermarried with Og, who was a Nephilim. All right, we'll be back with part 2. All right? Okay? So holiness to Allah or holiness to Yahya. So Mukadasil, no Mukadasiyah. All right? And they set upon it a twined ribbon of hyacinth to put it upon the tiara above the forehead. And Yah commanded Moshe, and all of the tabernacle of ordinance, was completed. And the sons of Israel did as Yah commanded Moshe, so did they. So Moses
Mm-hmm.
received an instruction,
Mm-hmm.
and he receives this instruction twice.
Correct.
The first time he comes down after receiving the instruction, they were doing their own thing,
Orgy.
right? The second time they come down after people die, they decide they're going to follow Moses' instruction this time. And they achieve the goal. They build everything, they make everything, and we have an establishment. You see this? You see the pattern?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know, the pattern that I'm seeing right now is that we don't get it together until there's death.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what they wait for. They waiting to die. And it's on the way. You know,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
nothing you could do because they don't see their failures. At every turn, right? The Nation of Islam, their first excuse was we have to wake up the people, we have to build ourselves up and save as many as we can. Now they have grown to be in the millions and they're still not leaving. They won't leave. The same thing with the Hebrew Israelite movement. Well, we have to wake up the people, we have to do this, and they still not leaving. So everybody's trying to have an Exodus moment. That's never in any scripture for this time, ever.
Right.
But they don't believe it until they die. Right? They don't believe it till they die. Right? Per capita, black people have $1 trillion in America. They could start their own country. But they're so foolish they won't do it. They can't wrap their heads around that. It's not possible for them to see. So even though I'm sitting here as a prince and saying we can buy land and formulate our own communities and govern ourselves, we have a law, we have an instruction, we have a plan, we have everything, invest. Right? So that as a community, we can build for ourselves and for future generations. They don't hear me. They won't hear until the deaths start rolling. And rightfully so, they deserve it.
Pretty much.
Rightfully so. As a people, we are doing everything opposite of this.
Right.
Right? In every corner of the world. Right? This manuscript teaches us how to be a nation, and instead of even trying, somebody would rather go read what somebody else said about it and then tell us what Google said, what Wikipedia said. And this manuscript is written for a people to create a nation from nothing. But we're going to continue because they're not going to
Right.
hear me till the death toll start rising.
Right.
Right? And all the work of the tabernacle, one, the
Right.
tabernacle, one, the tabernacle of ordinance, two, was completed. So they completed 2 structures.
Right.
The sons of Israel did as Yah commanded, so did they. And they brought the tabernacle to Moses at his house of instruction, the Beit Madres.
Madres. Bit.
Madres.
Okay.
Right? Madres is school, the house and school. Where sat Moshe and his sons, where he gave direction to them concerning the order of the priesthood. And there, and Aaron also sat the elders of Israel, and they brought to him the tabernacle and all its vessels. So they brought the tabernacle to Aaron and the elders, and Moses had the house of instruction. And Moses taught them the priesthood.
Right.
39 and 33. Right?
Right.
Now, there's no difference than this time. We have to reteach this again because I am reading it and I understand this service. I understand what a twined work is, right? This is a twined work. Right? This used to be gold. Right? But the Europeans started killing to steal the gold from the sheikhs' crowns. So for all the sheikhs that they killed, they started wearing just the black ones with no gold on it. So they brought the vessels, the taches, the boards, its pillars, its bases, and the covering of the reddening brand skins, and the covering of the purple skins, and the veil that was to be spread, the ark of the testimony, its staves, the mercy seat, and the cherubiah produced of a beaten work, the same, the one here and the other there, and the table and all its vessels, and the bread of faces, and the candelabrum, which now sits in the Vatican, and its lamps, the lamps of order, which were ordained to correspond to the seven stars that rule in their prescribed places in the firmament by day and by night, and the oil for the lights, and the altar, and the consecration oil, and the sweet incense, and the hanging for the door of the tabernacle, and the brazen altar, and its brazen grate, and its staves, and all its utensils, and the laver, and its bases, the curtain work of the court, and its pillars, and the bases, and the veil of the gate of the court, and its cords, and pins, and all the vessels for the service of the tabernacle, even the tabernacle of ordinance. And the vestments for the administration, for ministering in the sanctuary. So the elders and the leaders of the sanctuary, they have a specified garments as well as the priesthood. So the leadership is set apart to dress a certain way. See, I'm dressing a certain way today, traditional way. This is traditional. So there's dressing for the leadership, the administration, and there's dressing for regular people. There's dressing for the priesthood, and it's different from the dressing of the leadership.
So for us, we don't have no apostle and teacher and evangelist and also no, it's right here what we have
Right,
for us.
You have an administration. It's a government.
It's a government.
It's government.
Yes.
According to all Yah had commanded Moshe, so had the sons of Israel made all the service. And Moshe surveyed all the service. He took inventory.
Yes.
He inspected it.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, they had made it as Yah had commanded, so had they made it. That's proof of prophecy right there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So not only did they receive the instruction, they completed the instruction. Upon the completion of the instruction was an inspection.
Mm-hmm.
And upon inspection, it was verified and everything was in perfect working order as the instructions had said.
Mm.
So they didn't make it twice.
Right.
They made it once
Mm-hmm.
and it was good the
Mm.
first time.
Mm.
And Moshe blessed them and said, may the Shekinah of Yahweh dwell within the works of your hands.
Mm. Mm.
So now may the presence of God dwell within the works of your hands. Why? You were obedient to the instruction. You made everything that was said to be made. Now may God now bless
Mm.
in the work of your hands.
Mm.
And Yah spake with Moshe, saying, on the first month, that is the month of Nisan, the first month of the fall, on the first of the month, thou shalt rear up the tabernacle of ordinance. So on the
Mm.
first day of Nisan,
Mm-hmm.
of the fall,
Mm-hmm.
we're to raise up, open up,
The tabernacle.
set up the
Mm-hmm.
tabernacle of ordinance.
Mm.
And thou shalt set there the ark of the testimony, and overlay the ark with the mercy seat. And thou shalt bring in the table on the north side, because from thence are given riches. For from thence distill the drops of the latter rain upon the herbs. For the food of the inhabitants of the world, and thou shalt arrange its borders. 2 rows of bread, comprising of 6 cakes in a row, answering to the tribes of Jacob. So this is sealed to the tribes of Jacob. This is a blood thing.
Mm.
This pushes all other nations and all other peoples out. I don't care what you claim. If you're not blood, you can't do it. You can't succeed.
Mm.
And you can have all the gold and all the money and everything else. You still can't do it.
You know, so with the ark, the the carabia
Mm-hmm.
is not built into the lid. It's
Placed on top.
hmm. Mm. Okay. Mm. Interesting. Yeah, because that would be easy for them to
I
travel
mean,
with
it have a cover and
covering and
everything.
everything.
So
Right.
when the ark is traveling, there's no big gold box marching up, the street,
Right.
because the people can't even look at
At
it,
it.
let alone touch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you die.
You die from looking at it.
Mm.
And thou shalt bring in the candelabrum on the south side, because there are the paths of the sun and of the moon, and the pathways of the luminaries. And thence are the treasures of the wisdom which resembleth light. And thou shalt kindle the 7 lamps corresponding to the 7 stars, which resemble the just, who shine unto eternity in their righteousness. So we're going to look at this, right? And if you live here in the land, the sun and the moon pass along the south, both of them.
Right.
They go from east to west, but they arc in the south. right? So right now I'm facing the north. The sun is behind me, and the east is to the right, and the west is to the left. So the sun passes over the southern gate, and the Most High says the riches come from the north.
Mm.
We're gonna see. Thou shalt place the golden altar for sweet incense before the ark of the testimony, because the wise who are diligent in the law have a perfume fragrant as the sweet incense. So you only had to be diligent
Mm.
in the government law. That's what's written here.
Mm-hmm. There's no other way.
There's no religion written
No.
here.
No.
There is a government law.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt set the veil at the gate of the tabernacle, because the righteous so covereth with their righteousness the people of the house of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So the people cover.
Mm. So the corresponding to the 7 stars, which the 7 stars are the angels.
No, the 7 stars which resemble the just.
Mm.
No angels.
Mm.
It's people.
Wow.
7 stars are lamps. These are people.
Mm.
People who adhere to the law vehemently and who have the wisdom to navigate the law.
Mm.
The just.
Mm.
No angels.
Mm. Wow.
People.
Mm. Who shine unto eternity in their righteousness. Then in verse 5, because the righteous so covereth with their righteousness the people of the house of Israel.
Yeah. Because the wise who are diligent in the law. So the table of sweet incense is a representation of wise people who seek instruction from the law and obey it. Again, no religion.
No religion.
There is a representation of what represents what and what it's for, and it's thoroughly explained to you so that nobody can sell you any hoodoo, shoo, moo moo, or magic of any kind. This is about keeping the law to build a nation, a country for the people who wish to obey this law, specifically for the seed of Jacob, the sons.
Mm. So, the only way you can even be righteous is only through the law.
Yes, you have to have a rule. You have to have a government. And you can't have 2 government rules. You have to have one.
One.
You can only have one. So you cannot sit down and hide within a religion, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a land. You have to govern your people by this law on your land.
Mm.
Now, this is not permitted in Mitzrayim in the West.
Mm. Okay. Mm.
It's not permitted.
No, it's not.
Mitzrayim is this way, west.
Mm-hmm.
Mitzrayim is this way, west.
Mm.
Thou shalt set the veil at the gate of the tabernacle, okay? We did that already for the house of Israel. And thou shalt place the altar of burnt offerings before the door of the tabernacle of ordinance, because the rich who spread the table before their doors and feed the poor shall have their sins forgiven.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm going to read this again. Thou shalt place the altar of burnt offerings before the door of the tabernacle of ordinance, because the rich who spread the table before their doors. So the rich and the poor live together. And the rich make feast
For the poor.
for the poor in front of their doors. And feed the poor shall have their sins forgiven what time they make the offering upon the altar. So the brazen altar is the place where rich people can come to give free will offerings to feed poor people so that there is just food at all times. And this atones for the rich man and cleanses him of his sins. No brazen altar, no cleanses of sins for the rich man.
So,
No brazen altar,
right.
no cleanses of sins for the rich men of the sons of Jacob. We have an instruction.
Right. So, a rich man can't enter
Well, if
you're doing this
that's why I say you have to take the entirety of the New Testament
and throw it away.
and throw it away. That's why I don't even mention it. I'm telling
That's
you what this says.
crazy.
You can combine it in your mind. I'm gonna just tell you what this says.
Wow.
I'm not gonna go in and just. I'm not touching that thing. I don't touch that thing with a 10-foot pole.
Yes. Yes. Said his sins are forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. When you feed the poor. When the rich.
Right? And thou shalt place the laver between the tabernacle of ordinance and the altar, and put water therein for the sins of such as convert by repentance. Convert by repentance. What are they converting from? From one country's law
2 hours.
to their own law given to them by God.
Whew.
And pour off their perversity like water. So living in another country, you have become perverse because how this country lives, its culture, its way of life, dressing, marriage, relationship, everything is perverse. There is another culture. How it conducts business is perverse. There is another system. So there's something outside of capitalism.
So, those who are still where they are must convert.
Now, to repent means to simply change.
Change.
Okay, you lived in America, you live like an American. You lived in Canada, you live like a Canadian. You lived in South America, you live like whatever South American country. You lived in Africa, you lived according to that. However, you have to change. You have to exchange that and come back and revert back to the original customs and traditions. We'll be right back after this.
There's no way around this thing. It's no way around it. It's
No.
plain.
And thou shalt place the court round about, because of the merits of the fathers of the world, which encompasseth the people of the house of Israel round about. Right? So the deeds of the righteous fathers is what seals the seed of Jacob into this covenant so that they can get no success nowhere in the world. Islam failed. Judaism failed. Christianity failed. And all the other religious and magical practices, or whatever you want to believe, any science, anything, they all failed because we are a nation, we are a people without a nation. And we have more wealth in just black people's economy has more wealth than third world countries, and they have a country.
But we don't.
You don't. We don't. So it is the righteousness of our fathers that keep us in the curse and prevent us from having any success
Outside.
outside of this. And I don't care if you know a black man that's a billionaire. It doesn't matter. It does nothing for his people. I don't care if you have thousands sitting in your buildings or under your teaching. It does nothing because black people still are not a nation and have not become a people. You have nothing. You have no organizational advantage anywhere. You are not at the table. You are simply waiting to be slaughtered. You complain, you can cry out, and you act as if crying out has power. It doesn't. You're simply waiting for the day that they try to kill you. And that's it. And in the meantime, you just make more babies and keep destroying yourself. You can complain about anything they put on you. They put it on you because they're your government. And this law says for you to change that and create your own. And we are here to do that. And you won't move. You won't move. You want to know why you won't move? It's because you dead. And you know you dead. And you know you deserve to be dead.
And not create your own where you are. But
They can't. This is why we're here. But this is why you know you dead. You know you have died. You know you can't and have no hope. Right? You can brag about whatever you're doing just to get another piece of money from some other people to extend this project that you're working on for another day. But you know, as a nation and as a people, you're dead. I'm talking to the dry bones. You can say, we the children of Israel, all you want. Nobody is coming to save you. The Ark of the Covenant is the salvation. It is a law, a governing system, and a governing body of your own brothers and sisters who return to the land and walk out the path of the instruction literally. Who return to the land and walk out the path of the law literally. This is why I'm sitting here. This is the mercy seat. You have a resource in your hand. Will you use what is in your hand to deliver you? Moses had a stick.
They still looking for the stick.
You want somebody with a stick. But the law says you don't need nobody with a stick. You need somebody with a law. You need to get away and separate from these wicked people. That's what you need. That is what you need. So I'm sitting here. It says you have to be from the house of David. I'm from the house of David. You want to question my words? I gave the book free. Now I sell the book. You don't read the book when it's free, and now you don't want to buy it either. You deserve to die. You deserve it, honestly, because there is no righteousness at all among us as a people. There is none.
Right.
And that's me included, because even though I'm sitting here, I'm sitting here doing what I'm told to do. But until we complete the assignment, there is no glory.
Right. Right. Right.
I can sit here and read it. I can sit here and tell you, but the problem is everybody's talking. And ain't none of you talking no sense. None of you talking about the basic fundamentals of building a nation. Buy land, grow food. You can't do it in any other nation or any other country except the Heshemite country. But you scared. I know. So die. Moving along.
Still on the, and thou shalt set the hanging up.
And thou shalt set the hanging of the gate of the court on account of the merit of the mothers of the world, which spread at the gate of hell, of Gehenna, that none may enter there of the souls of the children of the people of Israel. You heard that right. You can go to the grave, but because of Sarah and Leah and Rachel and Bilhah and Zillah and Rebecca, because of them and Timnah, because of them, you can't enter Gehenna. So you keep coming back over and over and over and over till we get it right, because we have a limited number of souls. Yes, the children of Israel have a limited number of souls. The seed of Abraham is 3 kingdoms. 3. It consists of 3 kingdoms. And when I say kingdoms, I'm talking family branches. The Ishmaeli, Bani Israel, and Saudi. It consists of 3. And Bani Israel and Saudi can't exist in number, great number at the same time. It can't. So if Bani Israel convert and accept the law, it rises to be the great nation and subject all the other nations. If not, well, Saudi continues to sit at the top. So what can you do? Nothing? What are you going to say? Nothing. Because it's the truth. You cannot argue with this. It will say repeatedly as we go through the books, yeah, you come back many times and you keep coming back over and over again until you get it right. That's how foolish, retarded, slow, stupid we are. You have the money now to form a nation, and you won't come together to form a nation. See, I'm of My religion is brotherhood. It's brotherhood first.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say brotherhood, I don't look at money. I don't look at nothing else. We need land and we have rules.
Mm-hmm.
How that land gets distributed, we have rules. Because in my brotherhood, we're a kingdom. We create our own currency. We have a rule for that.
Mm-hmm.
I can make my own money. I can print it myself.
Mm-hmm.
We can spend it in our own community. When I'm dealing with another nation, I can deal with a commodity. Yeah, we have wheat. You want wheat? We got wheat. We got oils. We got bombs. We got medicine. If we had our own country, all of these people, these great people who have done good things within our community would be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dr. Sabi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He died because we don't have a country.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have a country because we don't have law.
We don't want to follow the law.
We don't want to follow this law. And so now when you're talking about, oh, well, if you have a country, the CIA, the FBI, man, listen, if these people had all the power that you say they have, then why are they afraid of just letting you come back and farm? Because you just touching the earth. Come back here with me. Just touch the earth. Let's do it. Is war. The Most High makes your enemies fight against themselves. So the more I do this, the worse it gets.
Mm-hmm.
It continues to get worse with each step I take in this direction. If you want to believe it's you too. I don't care. At some point, you will recognize you are in the hands of the enemy that you wish to see destroyed. You are there. Just like Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah, he's in Sodom and he wants Sodom to be destroyed, but he don't want to leave. That's you. Well, God, destroy everything around me, but not me. God is like, no, I'm about to level everything here.
The whole playing field.
And if you here, I'll level you too.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So get out. I'm leveling everything. So sit there. Let's see who's lying. Oh, but you're preaching segregation. Yes.
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 Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. Come out. We come to our own and we can associate with whomever, but we have our own.
Right.
Your son deserved land, does he not? Right? The government gives land and wealth and support to its people. I'm telling you, we have to do the same for ourselves.
Right.
We form our own governing body. We continue to prosper as a community and give land to our people.
Mm-hmm.
Your son, my son, everybody's son. Every son gets land here.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get land in Arab Emirates. The Emiratis give land to their sons. Oh, you get married. Free land, house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to do that too. That's exactly what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to have war. We have money. Pull it together. We buying land. We building. Here, house. Next, house. Next, house. House. You get a house. You get a house. You get a house.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make Oprah Winfrey look like a bum. No tax write-off needed.
Verse 9.
And thou shalt take the consecration oil and anoint the tabernacle and all that is therein, and shall sanctify it, shall set it apart, shall make it special, should keep it away from everything else. See, segregation.
Yes.
On account of the crown, on account of the crown of the kingdom of the house of Judah. So the tabernacle got separated on account and for the crown of the kingdom of the house of Judah. Now, watch this. And of the King Mashiach, who is to redeem Israel at the end of the days. Now, the redemption of Israel, is not a sky kidnapping.
Right.
The redemption of Israel is buying back the land and putting the people back on the land and building the land up for the people as they come. If anybody else want to give it a shot, try it. I wish more of you would. Heck, I came here inclined to work with somebody, but nobody wants to do it because there is no profit in it.
For them.
So me buying back the land and building houses and putting everyone in the houses, there's no profit in it for me.
Right.
Right?
And you don't want a profit.
I never asked for one.
Right. You don't want one.
What I don't need this. I need for my grandchildren to have land. I can profit off of my own lot. I know how to sell a vegetable. I know how to make an oil. I know how to make a shop. I really don't need to make a profit. I don't need American money. I can make my own. I'm a king. I know how. I have the information. I have a law. So the redemption is getting you back into this law and back onto our own land without weapons. We don't need none. It's just a little contribution. It's a little bit of money. You pull it together and you put a bunch of people in a building. And then those people work for the community and build more buildings. And we make more businesses and we get more people.
And it keeps growing and growing and growing and growing.
You buy more land, make more buildings, get more people. Take those people, make more jobs, get more land, get more people, and repeats. That's the instruction of the law. It's a governing body, and it's made to benefit you. And thou shalt anoint the altar of burnt offerings and all its vessels, and consecrate the altar, that it may be an altar most holy, on account of the crown of the priesthood of Aaron and his sons, and of Elijah, the great priest, who was to be sent at the end of the captivity. And thou shalt anoint the laver and its base. Now I want to point this out, right? So until the king redeemed the people, right? You don't even need a priest. No people, no land, because Levi don't have no land. Right? So until we as a people, right? I'm from Judah, until we start buying land, then over here, then we can reinstall and reinstate the priesthood. No land, no priest. No priest, no atonement. No atonement, no repentance. Starts with land. You don't like it? Tell me I'm wrong. Prove to me how you can reinstate the priesthood without the land. Because I don't know how you're going to grow all this stuff that you're supposed to grow with your own hand. So the Shekinah of the Most High dwells in the work of your hand. So how are you supposed to offer Most High from the work of your hand and you don't have no land to grow it? Oh, I know, because flour grows at the supermarket. You stupid. You stupid. It make me sick to my stomach. We can't grow corn. People actually believe dirt stopped working. It's a new day and age. We got technology now. You stupid. Everything that is here comes from the earth.
Right. There's no other way. So whatever it is.
They keep separating you from it, from the earth, separating you. And then you keep looking, oh, we going up to heaven. The Most High don't want you. You're too stupid to go up to heaven. He don't want you. Everybody in heaven is working.
Right.
He sent us here to get the earth right, and you trying to go to heaven. You stupid. Who sold you that? You know what? I can help you get to heaven right away. Send me all your money, right? And then you could just go jump off a bridge. That's how dumb it is. When you get off the bridge and you get to the bottom, you will discover you not wanted in heaven. You're not going. My heaven is right here. It's right here. Give me this dirt. I'm gonna put the garden back the way it was, and that's it. Where's the Garden of Eden? You didn't replant it. You gotta be, that's just dumb. You ain't growing nothing worrying about where's the garden. You know, I went to the Brooklyn Botanical Garden.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
A beautiful garden. Right? They got a whole bunch of stuff there just from all over the world. They just made a nice little garden you can walk around. Nice little garden you can walk around. Somebody planted it. If you want the Garden of Eden on earth, though, somebody got to plant it.
Plan it, yeah. Plan and take care of it.
Oh. Oh. I want to go to heaven. The Most High don't want you. He don't. I'm serious. He don't want a rebel. You can't follow an instruction. I gave you a law for how to live on earth, and here you are trying not to live on earth. And thou shalt anoint the laver and its base and consecrate it on account of Joshua thy minister, chief of the Sanhedrin of his people. So Joshua had his own Sanhedrin that he was in charge of, and by whose hand the land of Israel is to be partitioned. So you have to buy land. Even you don't know whose land it belongs to. You buy all the land. And then the son of Joshua, then we have a priest, we can make atonement. Then the son of Joshua, right? The Messiah, Mashiach, Bar Ephraim, who shall spring from him, right? So now the son of Joshua can divide the land because we got it. This portion belongs to so-and-so. This is this area here. This is this area there. Even I know a lot of the land portions, a lot of them, but I don't know them all. He has intimate knowledge. You want to know why? Because he's a Muslim and he's here in the land. I know. I meet some of his sons from time to time. This is Ben Yusuf, Ibn Yusuf. They here. You want to talk to me about American Indians? Don't talk to me about them. Those people have a country, they have a land, they have stuff. And whose hand the house of Israel is to vanquish, Majuj and Yajuj, Gog and Magog, and his confederates at the end of the days.
Mm.
So if you Muslim and you want to know how to defeat Yajuj and Majuj, it come by the hand of Bani Israel, and specifically this son, Ibn Yusuf. You worried about Dajjal, huh? We have an answer for that, Bani Israel. It's in our law too. So you can help too. We out of time. That's it. I'm not doing any more segments today. We see you tomorrow. One step, one step.